Welcome, Washington families, to our virtual open house. My name is Alicia Limosani, and I'm the principal this year at Washington, and I'm so happy to be back. Thank you so much for making the start of the school year be as successful as it has been. If at any time you have any questions or comments, please call or reach out. I've appreciated all the collaboration so far, and I look forward to having the best school year yet with your children. Over the next couple of slides, I'm going to be going over some information that will hopefully answer a lot of questions, and if I don't answer something, reach out. So this is our district website. You'll always find lots of information here. Here's our web address. If you were to scroll down and you come to Washington Elementary School, you will get more information that's just specific just to Washington School. We have our schedules posted. We have our way to contact our faculty and staff, everybody in the building. If at any point a link isn't working, please let us know. We'll update it. And if you can't email us, always call us. So welcome again. And this was the information that I just shared. And just to answer quickly, sometimes we're Miss Petro and myself, we're both on the phone. So if we don't pick up right away, call right back or leave a voicemail and we'll get right back to you. Working with the school. Always talk to your child about their school day. Ask them what they did. Have them repeat back and let them be the teacher about what they did that day in that lesson. That lets them literally relive what the teacher was teaching in school that day. If they're stuck on something for homework, don't worry. Just write a quick note and say that your child had difficulty with this one question, and the teacher will be able to address it the next day and when we go into our small groups. Always reach out, call, email, use Remind for the teachers that do. We will definitely get back to you. And take advantage of parent conferences when those times come. And at any time, you're free to call or email. The school day. We have this posted. Our doors open at 8:55. 9:15 is considered tardy, so we do close the doors at 9:10 and we have them come through the front door. I do need to remind everybody though, 4 tardies equal 1 absence and 4 early dismissals equal an absence. If it's getting excessive, we will be sending home a written notification and calling for a meeting because unfortunately at 10 days we have to start looking into why students are absent. Obviously if we have doctor's notes we do understand, but we don't want students absent. We want them here every day. Dismissal starts at 3:10 and we have on a full day and 1:20 is a half day. There's 8 periods in a day and we run on a 10-day cycle, and again all schedules are posted on our website. So our academic and special areas. Out of the 8 periods, 3 are dedicated to reading and writing. So they will get small group instruction, whole group instruction, individualized attention, and it will be for reading, decoding, phonics, patterns of power, all the good things that go in with that subject area, they'll be integrated in those periods. 2 are dedicated to math. So 1 is dedicated to core grade level, and then there's SRBI that lets us focus on enrichment or helping skills that are still kind of weak. They get 1 special area a day. There's art, library, music, science lab, and gym. We do ask on gym days that the kids wear sneakers. And usually on an art day, I'd say don't dress up super pretty or with those nice dress shirts because sometimes markers do fall and we don't want any clothes to get ruined. And then 1 is split with science and social studies, and then 1 is split for lunch and recess. And due to the restructuring of our schedule, we have a 15-minute snack break that doesn't interfere with instructional time. Speaking of breakfast, lunch, snack, and water fountains, breakfast is sent home each day. If you do not want your child to take home a breakfast, no worries, send in a note and they won't have one sent home. Lunch is daily. There's a hot lunch choice, and the alternative is always the bagel yogurt plate. Menus are always found on the district website. Students are encouraged to bring a healthy snack each day. I joke around with them and I say, listen, bring a snack. Miss Limosani has a snack. Sometimes she gets hangry. So we want to make sure that everybody kind of refuels during the day. And students can use the water fountain, but we ask that they use a safe, reusable water bottle that can be brought in each day and easily refilled. We're trying to limit the amount of times a child is actually putting their mouth near the water fountain, but they are there so that the bottles can be refilled. Changes in daily pickup. This is super important. Sometimes emergencies happen. We totally get it. If you have to have somebody else pick up your child, please, earlier rather than later, try and call the school, send in a note, and that person has to have ID. Safety is always number 1. We will not release any child to anybody that we don't recognize or we don't have ID for. If there's questions on that, definitely let me know. Updating the school. This is another important one. Over the summer, I emailed quite a few times and we had to update some email addresses, phone numbers, addresses. At any point, if any of that information, and also, I'm sorry, emergency contacts, if at any point those people change or those addresses or emails or phone numbers need to be updated, please reach out sooner rather than later. In the event that we have an emergency, we need to be able to get a hold of you, and it takes no time at all between my secretary and myself. We just go into Power School, update that information, hit submit, and it's literally probably a minute or less to make any type of updates. Recess and lunch. Students have assigned seats in the lunchroom. It is staffed with a certified teacher and lunch aides. Recently, lots of new games have been purchased for the students to engage in more activities while at recess. Please make sure students always have closed-toed shoes for their safety. And as the weather gets cooler, we will go out for as long as we can, so please have your child dressed accordingly. At recess, there's a certified teacher, one of our security guards, and one lunch aide per class that are circulating and keeping an eye on students, making sure that their language is appropriate and that they're playing nicely with each other. Masks. Still have to wear them, but I'm going to tell you what, your kids have been doing a great job wearing their masks. We do have extras, but it always helps if you can please pack an extra in their book bag. In particular, we have those blue ones. I'm not really a fan. I don't like how they feel, so I always keep one of these here. They're nice and soft, but we do have extras and we do follow the CDC guidelines, so thank you. Extra help for our students. We're very fortunate at Washington. We have so many extra hands to help our students. Our reading team consists of a full-time reading consultant, 4 full-time reading teachers, and we also have our district K-6 reading coach. Their jobs are to go into the classrooms and do model lessons, take small groups, co-teach, and help us do remediation where needed. Our math team got to grow this year. We had a math coach. She's still with us, Miss Went. We now have a math facilitator, Mrs. Laurenti, and our Title I math aide, Mrs. Stratman, who was actually one of our former teachers from here. So she knows the kids and she knows the school. Their job too, go in, co-teach, model lessons, and take small groups where needed. Our EL team, we got lucky this year. We added Mrs. Abate to the list of our EL teachers. And so we have 3 dedicated EL teachers and 3 dedicated EL tutors. They typically pull groups so that our newest kids that don't know the English language very well acquire it and they're able to integrate very quickly. We're lucky to have a full-time speech pathologist. We have 4 inclusion special education teachers that have a main grade, and then 1 each pushes into our kindergarten. And help from these staff are determined by testing and teacher recommendations. Climate. This is a really big one, and I know all of my teachers touched on this. One of the biggest things that we want to make sure is that our kids feel safe and they feel loved. Because if they don't feel safe and they don't feel loved, learning doesn't happen. So every day we start off with a morning meeting. In that morning meeting, the teachers have the kids circle up, obviously socially distanced as best as we can. We do a greeting and we learn about each other. We learn what we like, we learn what we don't like, and we learn how to communicate with each other if we are having an issue. Because as I've told the kiddos, violence never solves anything. God knows we have enough of that in the world today. We're working with them to make sure that we use our words and that we're doing it in a positive, assertive way. So one of the things that the teachers, staff, and I came up with is a set of consistent school rules that not just in the classroom, not in school, but in life as well. And we start off with the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Bottom line, everybody wants respect, but we have to also give it. So we are working with the students, again, like I said, on how to interact with each other in a positive way, using words and not any type of hands or fists, because we never want anybody to feel that way. Following directions, keeping your hands and feet to yourself, being respectful to the person who is speaking, treating school property with respect, and always trying your best. If you also notice, they're phrased in the way that that's what they're supposed to do, because these are things that we need to do. So when students say, oh, I shouldn't yell, I shouldn't hit, we always say, well, what should you do? Because we're focusing on the things that they should be doing. And one of the things we want them to know is, as a result, doing good, you get good. So in this case, green means go. These are the positive consequences. Consequences don't always have to be bad. You do these things, what happens? You earn good grades. You feel proud. Your family and friends are proud of you. You pass the grade that you're in and you earn good rewards. And over here, I know it's kind of covered up right now, but the negative consequences, because red means stop. So if we're doing these things, and we do know once in a while kiddos don't make the best choices, it reiterates, you won't earn good rewards. You may have to do a little bit of a recess attention where you have kids sit down and kind of just think about what they're doing. We have a timeout sheet. We may have to call or send home a note home. They may have to come see me, where then I would be making a phone call home and then not earning good rewards. So we want students to know, do good, get good, and that's the focus. School security. Again, super lucky. We have two full-time security guards. We have Mr. Edwards and Mr. Kane. They are doing frequent door checks throughout the day. They help with arrival and dismissal, and they check in with anyone who comes to the school. So if you came to the main entrance and you buzzed in, you're definitely greeted by one of those guys, and they check for ID, they ask why you're there, and they help us make sure that, we keep everything very safe, and I'm very thankful for both of them. We do share a West Haven PD SRO. He comes in when we need him, and he's scheduled throughout the district. So you may see him cruising around and coming to the school. He works with the students. And again, very thankful that, we have that extra resource. Technology and cell phones. Chromebooks. This is a good one. Every student has access to a Chromebook, and they are controlled by the district. So we have lots of filters so that the students aren't able to access anything. But they are, we have to be careful with them. We don't want them to break. But definitely every child has access and they have their own login. So it's super awesome that we have that technology in place. But cell phones. This one's a little tricky. Students may bring them, but they have to be turned off when they come to school. They're not permitted to use them in school. If a student needs to make a phone call home, he or she may use the office. We have an office phone. And I don't mind because sometimes, somebody forgets a lunch or they need to just make sure if a mom or dad or somebody's picking them up. Totally fine. But we keep the cell phones off. And I did send home that blast. Please make sure that you're double checking and seeing what apps are on your child's phone. TikTok, Snapchat, definitely not appropriate for this age. There is a lot of content on there that our kiddos should not be exposed to. So I would say if you see those types of apps on the phone, delete them completely. Make sure that your parent controls are in place because I don't want our kiddos to be exposed to anything that they don't need to be. Students who ride the bus. Very honestly, that's why I had to send home that phone blast. Behavior that's not acceptable in school is not acceptable on the bus or at the bus stop. Kiddos need to stay seated, knees, feet to the front, aisles are clear, talking quietly, using appropriate language, being respectful to the driver. We do have a monitor on each bus, and students have assigned seats. So, like I mentioned, we try to talk with the kids. We try to let them know, like, hey, we're trusting you. Make sure you're doing the right thing. But as I've said to a few of my friends, if you can't be safe, I do not want you on the bus because I don't want anybody ever to get hurt. And thankfully, those behaviors have loosened up a little bit. So thank you, parents. I appreciate your help with that. And please keep, stressing good behavior on the bus. The positive mindset. I'm excited to implement that this year. There's a bulletin board literally on this side of the wall. And right now it's not really filled up, so I didn't take a picture, but we just started. But the challenge is to fill the bulletin board by the end of the year. Students earn applause by showing a positive mindset and good character, helping to reinforce the behaviors and thinking that students need not what's in school, but outside of school walls for the rest of their lives. So thank you. Thank you for joining our virtual open house. I appreciate all of your collaboration and teamwork. Together, we'll make this the best year yet for our Washington students and reach out at any time. Definitely been a great start. I appreciate all of you and let me know if I could do anything to help you. Thank you and have a great night or day whenever you get to see this.